sure you'll agree with me that we live in a pretty volatile world, politically and socially, but I never thought it would ever creep into the church realm. So, yesterday I was reading a tweet from a well known Christian leader, and his tweet was a scripture that said, Jesus is the light of the world and we should follow the light. My mistake was reading the replies to his tweet. It was unbelievable. So these people called him a false prophet and a grifter and a wolf in sheep's clothing, from Christians who use scripture to attack him, all because he's a Donald Trump supporter. But he never mentioned Donald Trump in his tweets. And then last week, a well-known Bible teacher also came under fire from Christians again because she publicly opposed Donald Trump. She was called a charlatan and a hack and a false teacher. And again, the word was used to attack her. So I guess it's to be expected because Paul the Apostle went through the same thing. In fact, when he corrected the Galatian church, he asked them a question: have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? Dr. Paul Burns, who's a personal friend, is a director of what's called Soul Metrics, and he's created a spiritual growth inventory. And one of the factors in that, the assessment in telling where your spiritual maturity is, one of the factors is called emotional regulation. And this is where a person is aware of his emotions, but he doesn't act out of his emotions. So, for example, anger is a valid emotion, but it's kept in check when we might be angry, but we don't physically or verbally attack someone. And he calls this self-control, which happens to be the ninth fruit of the Spirit. And Dr. Burns says, and I quote, a person with a high degree of emotional regulation would also have a high degree of the 8 other fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness. And he says this is an indication of spiritual maturity. But I'm afraid what we're showing in the church is spiritual immaturity, especially lack of the fruit of the Spirit, because we're supposed to be people of the Spirit, but we're losing our ability to interact with people, and we react from our passions and our emotions with anybody who doesn't agree with us, and we're not even able to sit down and just listen and reason together. If anybody should be modeling today how Christians should be acting, it's us. And I think we're really failing at it. So what do? Well, let me give you 5 points. First one is, if you have a judgmental spirit, ask God to change your heart. And if you don't know if you have a judgmental spirit, then go to a trusted friend who will speak the truth to you. And then secondly, be intentional to ask God to develop more of the fruit of the Spirit in your life. That is going to lead us to spiritual maturity. And then third, be careful about casting stones, because accusatory stones often have a boomerang effect. And then remember who the real enemy is. It's not someone who doesn't agree with us politically. Our real enemy is the devil. So we need to use the word, the sword of the Spirit, against him, not against one another. And then fifth, pray for the church to mature spiritually. So Jesus will be able to present us, and I quote, as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. I think that sounds really mature, don't you? So hey, if you think somebody else needs to hear this message, please feel free to pass it on. Thanks. I'll see you next time.